The Sega Master System. The challenge will always be there.
Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and finally we're back to my 20 from the Sega Master System series, and we're going to look at game number 3. This game is so long and epic, but it is a true classic. It's one of the better RPG games of the 80s, and this is called Phantasy Star. This is the very first one. This was released in, I think, most parts of the world by Sega in 1988. I think originally released in Japan in 1987, but this had so many sequels. There's still sequels or follow-ups being made today, but this concerns the adventures of a young female warrior by the name of Alice, A-L-I-S, who's trying to defeat the evil ruler King Lassic, who had her brother Nero murdered. And so she's trying to avenge him, and she ends up getting 3 party members. And it's got a lot of the usual trappings of later RPGs. There's towns. You go into the towns, you buy items from the shops, or weapons, or armor. This has great music, just great background story, great characters, just a true classic. But boy, is this game long, and I had to just muddle through this thing. It is several hours long. So, sorry about the long wait if you were waiting for number 3 for a long time. I'm finally gonna bring it to you. But yeah, it takes a long time to complete this game. You definitely want to get some defensive items right away, because if you take one step outside of the city that you start in without any armor or a shield, you're gonna get waxed real quick. So this is Alice's brother Nero dying. What you want to start off doing is there's a dungeon that you can go into in the town, and you can get money. And there will be treasure chests in the game, and they'll appear after every enemy you killed, and that's how you get the money from them, is you open up that treasure chest. You can elect not to. On rare occasions, there will be traps inside those chests, and they'll hurt you a little bit. It could be a bomb or a spear. But this is the home of Alice, but Alice doesn't live here anymore. This house, you do not want to forget this. This is a free hotel stay where you can rest everybody for free. It's pretty nice. Very rare that you can rest everybody for free. And here is a shop, and we're going to purchase a shield, I think. Actually, no, this is the second-hand shop. They have little things that might be of use in a dungeon. But there will be a lot of dungeons in this game. And some of them will be very, very labyrinthine. But the second-hand shops, you can sell items that you don't need anymore and make some cash. But here we are going to purchase a leather shield. Definitely want to get some defensive item before you leave town. This game has such great music, and here you can press one of the buttons. I think it's button 1 maybe, and you can go to your status item whatever screen, and that is where you can equip your items that you bought. Your your armor, or your weapons, or maybe use a certain item. And here we'll get into a fight here. There's some big mosquito or something that you can fight. And you will gain experience points, and you can open the treasure chest there. Almost all the time it will not have a trap. Very seldom will it have a trap, but it will hurt you a little bit if you spring the trap. And there's a trap. And you'll get some Mesitas, and Mesitas is the currency in the Algol star system, which is where the game takes place, over 3 different planets. The planets are the green planet of Palma, or Parma. There is the sand planet called Motavia, and the ice planet called Dezoris, or Dezolis. There's some Engrish in this game. But yeah, you can sell things you don't need to the second-hand shop, and there will be one shop somewhere along the way that will sell secrets. You need to ask the guy 3 times. There will be some times where you have to pester people about something multiple times to get them to give you what you want. And now he finally gives in and sells you the secrets. And the secret that he gives you is it's the road pass, and the road pass is very useful. It allows you to travel between certain connected cities, like the one that you start in. That is, the one that you start in is called Camineet. There's some kind of goofy names for the cities in this game. And with the road pass, I can go between the guards, and they'll allow me to go across that conveyor belt type road that connects these cities. This is the starport, and below the starport is another city called Paralit. But those 3 cities are in close proximity, and we're starting on Palma, or Parma. And you'll also want to buy a passport, and you can get that here at the spaceport. Everything costs money, so make sure you collect some cash along the way from defeated enemies, or sold items, or equipment. And we can use the passport to fly to another planet. You can only fly to Motavia right now, but eventually, if you saw the other spaceship here, you'll be able to fly to other planets, or you'll be able to fly back and forth between them. And now we're going to Motavia, the barren planet. It's a sand planet. There's a lot of ant lions. There'll be these brown hills right there, and you can't really cross those right now. You'll need to get a vehicle later on. And yeah, I have the passport that allows me passage, or maybe it was the road pass. But you'll want to get both of those, and you'll want to talk to this guy. Don't pay him $1 billion, but you'll need to collect what's called a laconic pot, or purchase it. And with the laconic pot, you can barter for your first party member, and it is a cat named Myau. And he will tell you of a third party member by the name of Odin that you will eventually be able to collect, but he's been frozen by Medusa, or turned to stone by Medusa. And Myau has a little vial on his neck that has a chemical that you will want to drop on somebody that's been turned to stone, and it'll free them. So you'll eventually need to find this guy named Odin. Somewhere in the now we're back just south of Camineet and Spaceport and Paralit, and we'll find Odin eventually in the Medusa Cave, which is just south of those 3 cities that I told you about, or 3 areas. And we'll use the Alcalin, or whatever it was called, on Odin, so he'll turn back to human and will join your party. We will eventually fight Medusa later on in the game. We might not see it. I skipped to a bunch of different parts in this video. There's no way we're doing a whole playthrough. But when you face Medusa, you have to have the mirror shield in your possession that you can purchase somewhere, or else she'll turn everybody to stone and they'll all die. And here is another tunnel or dungeon type of area. You'll definitely need to look at maps of the areas, and you'll definitely need to get that dungeon key, because there will be doors that will be locked, and you'll have to have that dungeon key. And later on, you'll need a different type of key. There's various different weird enemy creatures that you'll have to slay for cash or whatever. You might be able to run away from them. You'll eventually need to buy a shortcake from a shortcake shop in a dungeon, which is really weird. Here is a church, and you can resurrect dead members in a church. They'll also tell you how far away you are from the next level, how much more experience points you'll need to get. You'll have learned all the spells you can by level 20. You can't learn any more, but you can still increase your experience levels. And here the guards are sleeping. Pretty worthless. But yeah, this game is chock full of dungeons and tunnels, and you'll need to look up online for some maps, because otherwise you'll just be lost. Yeah, here's me using the dungeon key. And here is, you give this guard the shortcake, and he'll take it to the governor. I think that's the governor of Uzo, I think. And then you get to rest for free just outside of his mansion, which is pretty nice. And then you can go talk to him. And then he tells you where you can go find your final party member by the name of Noah, and he is, for the most part, in the series of Phantasy Star, known as Lutz. And before you leave town, you have a nightmare about they call it a succubus. Whoops. A succubus that is probably going to be too hard for you to beat, and it'll kill you, but it's just a nightmare. You'll wake up and it won't have happened. And there's Odin's already dead. But Odin is the only party member that cannot cast magic. Alice has some useful magic spells. Myau died. Poor kitty. But yeah, you're not likely to win this succubus fight. I didn't level up my characters more than 25, and I was still able to beat the game. The game is beatable. It's just, God, it's just way too long. Very cool though. And here we're back to Motavia, and we're going to this cave way up in the corner. Again, Motavia is the sand planet. This is the I think the Maharu cave, and we found Lutz, or Noah, and he joins our party. And I've received a letter from the governor, please read it. And upon reading it, he decides he wants to join your party. He was kind of an obstinate jerk at first, but then he agrees to join your party. Yeah, the Algol star system is the universe that the 3 planets are in, the Palma or Parma, Motavia, and Dezolis or Dezoris. Yeah, there's so many tunnels and dungeons in this game. You're gonna easily get lost unless you can find maps. But you definitely need to have that dungeon key. And then later on in the game, you'll need to get what I think it's called like a mystical key or a magical key, or you'll have to have Noah cast open spells to open certain doors. And using your magic is really, really, really crucial in this game, especially later on. So if you can find ways to not have to use magic, that'll be great. I mean, if you can conserve your magic points. And here's the spaceport again. Eventually, yeah, you'll get that other spaceship going, and that manhole that we went in is a secret way to I think it was Gothic, a city called Gothic. Yeah, I've played, I didn't play this back in the day. I played Phantasy Star 3 and 4 for my Sega Genesis. There was 2, 3, and 4 made for the Genesis. I loved 4 especially. 4 was fantastic. Definitely one of the best games in the series. Now they have Phantasy Star Online games. And this here that we're at right now is the Triada Prison, or Triada Prison. In the prison areas, there will sometimes be actual prisoners you can talk to for information. And then you can talk with this guy. He'll tell you about a he'll tell you about Medusa, and this guy here is Professor Luvino, and he'll build you the second spaceship. Eventually you'll be able to get vehicles that will drive you across the terrain or can sail you across the water. And there will also be a vehicle you can use on the ice planet Dezolis or Dezoris to dig through ice. And you gotta go through a long process with the Professor Luvino and his assistant to try to get them to build you the second spaceship. And you have to pay him $1,200 twice, I think. It's just such a pain in the butt. And when he says, "Please wait," keep bugging him, and eventually he'll have it ready. And then you can fly to 3 different locations once that one's built. With the other spaceship, you could only fly to Motavia or Motavia, yeah, Motavia. And now I think we've got the other one ready to go. No, that one's the Motavia one. That one's the first one. And eventually, before you can fly the second spaceship, you'll have to awaken a robot or build a robot by the name of Hapsby, and you have to have polymetal think that's what it was called. And you use it on that pile of junk, and it'll turn into Hapsby the robot. And Hapsby will fly the second spaceship for you, the Luvino. And now you'll talk to his assistant, have him come back, and then yeah, you gotta pay Dr. Luvino another $1,200. Oh my god, such a pain in the butt with this guy. But the biggest pain in the butt of the game is yet to come. There will be a tower that just takes forever to navigate. But now we can go to the Luvino. And we just leave through the west end of the town. And they let you pass through. And there it is. You can now fly to, like I said, 3 different locations. Gothic, Uzo, or Skur. And they're each on the one of the 3 different planets. Uzo on Motavia. And again, Motavia was the barren planet, the sand planet. Palma or Parma was the green planet with, you know, woods and fields and stuff. And Dezolis or Dezoris was the ice planet. Yeah, there's all those antlion hills. You can walk on an antlion hill and fight an antlion. They're not very tough. But they'll push you backward 1 space so you can't cross it on foot. And here we're going to fly to the ice planet, I believe, of Dezolis, or Dezoris. And that has a whole bunch of annoying tunnels. They're not overly complicated to navigate, but there's a bunch of them, and you'll need to go into them to get to certain places. And you start off having to go into a tunnel right away. Yeah, Dezolis or Dezoris is kind of a pain in the butt because of a number of annoying things that you have to do. But once you're done with those things, then you don't have to come back, which is nice. You'll eventually need to collect nuts from a certain tree, and those nuts you will need to feed Myau, and he will turn into a giant flying creature. And you can purchase the Land Rover eventually, and we'll see it in action. You can just select it from a regular non-battle screen when you're outside of a town. You can just drive it all over. You can still be attacked, unfortunately. But you can drive it all over land, and eventually you'll want to find the what was it called? Not a hydrofoil, but a hovercraft, and that will allow you to sail across the water. It's very, very useful to get both of those, but they are expensive. And you need to talk to this guy, and he'll tell you about the hovercraft. You need to talk to him before you can go get it. And it is in a city called Motavia. I think that's what it was called. Or Bortivo. But once you purchase it, you can sail across the water, and you can be attacked while you're sailing on the hovercraft too. And now we're going to go back to Dezolis or Dezoris. And like I said, you really need to get... there's like a tree that's way south on Dezoris or Dezolis, and you'll need to use a certain type of torch or something on it, and then you'll be able to collect nuts from it, and later on you can feed the nuts to Myau. he'll be able to fly you to a floating castle. And here is a city. Once you take enough tunnels, you can reach it on Dezoris, and it is called Twin Town. And note that the inhabitants are an unusual alien species. I forget what they're called. Probably Dezorians or something. And here is where you can buy the ice digger. And it is called that because you can dig through ice with it. It acts as kind of a Land Rover, but it will dig through walls of ice that the Land Rover cannot. And you need to do that to be able to reach a couple things. And you can be attacked while you're in the ice digger as well. And there it's digging through the ice. And there is the tree that you need to use the, it's like a torch, or what was it called? Yeah, torch. Those items that are called flash, they only light up the tunnels for a short time. The tunnels would normally be dark and you can't see. You need to get yourself what's called a magic lamp as quickly as possible. Buy that, and then the tunnels will always be bright. Definitely get that. Now, after you get that, then you want to go here, and this is the... what is this? This is the Scion Prison, and you'll need to go through that, and then you'll need to go through the Scion North Caves, and then you have to walk across this poisonous marsh here, and then you'll reach the dreaded Baya Malay Tower, which takes forever to navigate, but there's some things you definitely need to do in there. The last thing you want to do is, when you get to the top, there will be a floating castle, and you'll need to feed Myau a nut, and he'll fly you up there. Otherwise you won't be able to get there and beat the game. And you'll also need to find Daymore, the soothsayer, somewhere in the Baya Malay Tower, and you need to say yes 3 times and no 2 times to his questions. And then he will give you an item you absolutely have to get in this game. A crystal. If you reach King Lassic without the crystal, he will kill all your party members right off the bat. Nothing you can do about it. So you have to have it. If you are overloaded with things, you can select something to drop to be able to collect that crystal, and we'll drop a worthless flash. And now that we are at the top, use the prism that you collected on the way, and you can make the flying castle appear. And then you need to feed Myau a nut. There it says nuts. These nuts. Myau ate the nut of Laermia or something. Laerma. And then he turns giant, and he's a flying beast, and he carries you all up to the castle. Loudly. Really bad Engrish in this game sometimes. There, he flies you up to the castle. But before you can land on the castle, you get attacked by a golden dragon, and you have to fight it. This game isn't hard to beat, but it's just so annoying with the tunnels sometimes. Still an epic game for its time. Really awesome. I was really glad I stuck with this. But yeah, your party members will stop learning new spells after level 20. They can still increase levels and get their hit points and magic points raised higher. But I got everybody up to level 25, and I was still able to beat the game. Yeah, there's no way to heal in this floating castle area. fact, there's one room that has a monster that will keep spawning every time you go in. But go into the tunnels here, and you'll eventually have to fight a guy by the name of Shadow. He's not super hard if you're leveled up enough and have the right armor and whatnot, armor, weapons, shields. But these tunnels are a lot easier to find your way through than in the Baya Malay Tower. That is the biggest pain in the butt in the whole game. But eventually we'll reach King Lassic. You can say yes or no to his question. It doesn't matter. You'll still fight him. And I was able to beat him. Definitely use your magic against him. He will block a lot of physical attacks, but his lightning attack is very damaging. Be prepared to heal with either Myau or Noah, or Lutz, on occasion. Heal themselves or other characters. And we killed Lassic, King Lassic. From what I'd read, he was actually originally a good guy, but he got consumed by dark magic and turned evil. And no, that's not the end of the game. There is an evil force called, I think it's supposed to be Dark Force, and they call it Darkfalz in this game. Now, you can use magic to exit the tunnels and park right outside the tunnels. And you can also feed another nut to Myau, and he'll fly you back down to the ground. And he'll actually fly you right back to Camineet, where that free hotel basically was. You can rest everybody for free. And there we are. Pretty darn awesome. But yeah, we will still have to face Darkfalz, or Dark Force, or whatever it was supposed to be. And we want to fly to Uzo, because we're going to pay the mayor of Uzo a visit. But strangely enough, the mayor is not there. And he has another free hotel right outside of his place. But you get dropped down. But that's how you advance in this tunnel area. You keep getting dropped down when you reach the end of each section of the dungeon. You will get dropped down again through a false floor. And eventually you will reach the end, the proper end. And then you will face Darkfalz. Silly ass name. And we have to use the magical key, or waste some magic from Noah using the open spell, which I'd rather not do. And here is Darkfalz. Note that you do not see his hit points. He has, I think, 400. I think I've heard. Use your spells as much as you can. Use attack spells or healing spells. Use fire with Alice. Just use regular attack or cure when you need to with Myau to cure themselves or another party member. Use Odin to do a regular attack because he doesn't have magic attacks, and use wind if you can with Noah, or just regular attack or fire if his magic points are low. Yeah, Darkfalz has a very damaging breath, or whatever it is that he hit us with. If you're facing an enemy in the tunnels or outside, you can choose to try to run. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And that was actually the mayor possessed by evil that was Darkfalz. dark force or whatever, and he's recovered. You saved him, and now he offers to make Alice the queen of the Algol star system. You can say yes or no, it doesn't matter, you'll still end the game the same way. First I'll select no, and then I'll select, I use the save state, then I'll select yes, but you'll get the same ending. But yeah, I'll say yes this time. Then you are the very queen of the entire system. I will assist you in any way possible. But that is Phantasy Star, and this was originally released in, I believe, 1987 in Japan by Sega, and released, I think, to the rest of the world that got this game in 1988. But long, very productive, epic series, the Phantasy Star universe, and they're still making games for it. Phantasy Star Online something or other. There's Alice, Odin, Noah, also known as Lutz, and Myau, the cat. Alice is a swordswoman. Myau is a cat, the cat still has attacks and magical attacks. Odin is the warrior, and Noah or Lutz is the mage. And that was Phantasy Star, the very first game in the whole series. Yeah, I'd never played Phantasy Star 2 for the Genesis, but I'd heard it was very good. April Fool. And we see credits in the dungeon. I loved the scaling effects in the dungeons for this game. It was really cool for its time. Goodness. And again, there will be some false floors in earlier dungeons than the Baya Malay Tower or wherever. And Myau has a spell that can nullify the effects of that trap or that false floor, and you can walk across it safely. But yeah, that Baya Malay Tower will likely frustrate the living hell out of you if you play this game and get towards the end. That is Phantasy Star, game number 3 in our 20 from the Sega Master System series. Long time coming, I finally finished this thing. I like to try to use Pro Action replay codes if I can to help finish a game that's really frustrating, but they would not work in this emulator, Kega Fusion. And that is Phantasy Star, created by Sega in 1987 in Japan, and 88 the rest of the world that received this game. Well, this is Crazy Camineet saying thanks for watching game number 3 in our 20 from the Sega Master System series, Phantasy Star. I hope to see you soon for game number 2. Take it easy, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend, and I will see you later. Bye-bye, folks.